growing up from a multicultural setting, I find it very upset that some particular group of people are being marginalized or stereotyped because of their ethnic background. So to have this conversation, I have with me five six beautiful ladies to help me discuss the importance of ethnic diversity in our society. Let's start an introduction from Farah.
I'm Mohammed Asma. My traditional name is Maida, which means in the Bani, Mambaza Shell.
My name is Idris Udamata, I'm a Fulani, and my traditional name is Jao. Miss Royal.
Alright, I'm in the person of Miss Mousy, I just Siavi. Voltarian by tribe. My name depicted. Mousy just means God hears, basically. Yeah.
My name is Wunpi Fatima Mohammed. I'm a Dagbana and yeah, that's it.
Yes, my name is Bala Hairia. I'm a Hausa by tribe. Hairia means prosperity, both in Islam and then the Hausa.
Okay, I'm Huzaima Mahamadou, a Dagomba by tribe, and my local name is Wonki Koski.
Oh, okay. I get
So we've all identified ourselves in our tribe. I wanted to describe the things we like about our tribe and the things some people do that we don't like, but they're still from our ethnic group.
I think what I like most about my culture and all my ethnic group is our model of like dressing, the food that we eat, our festivals and other different cultural practices that we have. I really like that. Love them very much.
Me, the most part of my culture that I like is we have secrets. We don't expose ourselves. We normally hide things. We keep to ourselves. Yes.
I don't like to share much.
and you actually enjoy that.
Yeah, me too. I have a story about that. Don't say it here. Okay. Yes, it's smart.
So basically, I would just say I love everything about Volta region. I love my apple and Fetiridachi. I love my Bobby Tadi. I love my culture, the Agbaja, the Chagbiko dance, and all those. I just love everything about my region. I wouldn't go for any other region to be part of, like to be born into, aside Volta, because I'm really proud to be from there. What I really don't like some people about my region, people really think that we are so much into this charm, this magic juju powers, yeah. But I want to believe it's in all the regions, but they tend to fear Bulgarians so much. Come on, we are good to be around with.
What I like about being a Dagbana, I mean, I love everything about it. I love the richness of the language. There are so many concepts that we have in Dagbani that cannot really be expressed fully in English. Like Bulchimsi is one of my favorite words, which, you know, if you try to translate it, would sound like human dignity or humanity, right? And so some of the other things that I like is also the ways in which our history, where we came from, where we went through, and where we are today. And parts of our history that we decided to take possession of and, assert our agency and basically just own, right? So for example, one of the things about our history that I like is that at a point, the Dagban kingdom was sort of divided into two. There was the Togoland side, and then there was the German Togoland side, and then there was the British side. So the British side was like Tamale and the other areas, and then the Yendi and that sector was the German side. And a lot of people from our ethnic group don't know this part of our history because it did not seem to have divided the kingdom. Like sub-chiefs from the various parts of the kingdom still went, against German and British authority to pay homage to the Yana who was in the German Togoland side. So I think those are some of the things that I really value about our culture.
Well, for me, Hausa is one thing we are known for is our confidence level. And one unique thing again is that houses are known to be modest. That doesn't mean that others are not modest, but houses are usually identified with our modesty, especially with the ladies. And again, as I mentioned earlier, on our confidence level, people sometimes misunderstand us. They think we are too known because we speak. And in the houses, we speak a lot. And when we are speaking, you see that slur, that too known thing in us. That is just us. It is not that we are being too forward or something. But when you don't understand people's ways of doing things, definitely you didn't understand why they do what they do. So for me, houses is a unique thing. I love everything about houses. Yes. I don't think there's anything I dislike about my tradition.
How interesting. Well, Penny has mentioned a lot about the Gombes, as you already know. But one unique thing I want to emphasize today is the Gombes are very hospitable.
Yes.
They receive strangers very well, irrespective of where you are coming from. If you come to a Dagombes man house, they will receive you. You even be surprised, you'll be like, wow, they're treating me as if I was their own. That is something you can't get anywhere. If you want it, come to the Dagombes and you'll be very happy.
That one I'm going to challenge you.
It really sounds funny.
Yes,
Like
yes.
a child who have not tasted any other woman's food before assume that to be the best food in the world.
Because a lot of
That one I'm
people
challenging you.
wow,
I'm not going to agree with that
hospital. I
one.
didn't know you
Yeah,
people
I
could be
think
that.
the issue
I think
of hospitality is just something that Ghanaians are actually good at. When
Yes.
you come from an ethnic group, I
Wow.
think we are really good at that also.
But believe me, I
It's
just think that
subjective,
it's
though.
because it is us. We are here, we are in it, we understand each other. So with the hospitality, someone who has never had a feel of your hospitality cannot tell.
Definitely.
So let's
Well,
wait
okay,
till
I will
Yeah.
challenge you. I will challenge you.
I think that we
say
need to
something.
hear from her
Yes,
because she's not
Because
a Dagwana, so
most-
she will be able to tell us
most-
if they treated her
Most
well,
of
right?
you don't treat other tribes well because
Okay.
most Dagombes they look down upon.
Which is true.
So
That's very
you
true.
understand?
Quite
So
recently,
for me, you can say you
Your
are like that,
hospitable
but
ladies.
most
My
people-
point where
That's
I'm coming
true. Let
from
me
is
just say
that
that.
Please, yes, well, let's hear
Yes,
from you.
90%
Okay.
don't take.
I know.
Especially ours,
No,
our
wait.
tribe Fulani. They
Yes.
don't look at us to be anything.
That's
Anyway,
true.
yeah,
It's-
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
especially in
Most-
Tamale here.
in Tamale,
They will say,
yeah.
I am
Please.
born.
I am Bongo. That's what they
No,
say.
it's true. Can I
There was
come
a-
in?
you just
Can I
mentioned
come
a
in?
point.
Yes.
How Dagombes have marginalized
Yes.
the land. How do you feel about it?
We feel very bad. Yes.
But have you gone through that?
Most times I do quarrel with people.
No, I think
For me, I don't take. I
She
don't
has-
talk much. But me, when
Okay.
you do something to me and I don't feel comfortable, I just tell you. So if you are that type thing, you can also retaliate. Yeah.
I think
I do quarrel with most people in cars. So one day I was from Yendi, and one lady was inside the car. Then we quarreled. Like we were coming, and then two Fulani men were crossing the road. So the woman said, "Hey, these people they are young." So, when he said that, and I said, "No, don't say this. Why do you say that? They are my flat place. So why you don't know what is in their mind? So why do you just say this?" And the woman was in the Gomba, so I said, "What tribe are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm in the Gomba." But see how you are treating other people is not the best. We are all human beings. So
I-
then she was kind of
You have to
angry that
respect each other.
she was kind of angry when she started talking. I said, if you don't shut up, I'll let them beat you here. Call for you. Then say, hey, so you small girl, you want to tell me that? I say, you don't know who I am. So just leave it.
No,
I think-
So they just have to
Actually
change me a
think-
seat.
I actually
Go and
think
sit in front.
the issue of when it comes to hospitality, personally, I'm not from this place.
Yes.
All the way from Volta region, I came to settle here, and then it looks like, to me, I think to some extent, you are very hospitable. I don't want to take that from you.
Okay.
I just want to believe that in every ethnic group, we all have a way of identifying ourselves, and that is where the problem is. Was it 2 days ago? I was going to buy roasted yam, maize, and then when I got there, I asked the lady, "Oh, Pamsolo Allah." So she told me 1 Ghana. Then, because I realized she knew the way, probably the way I said it, she would just know that this is not a Dagomba woman. Another man came and spoke the language, rattled it something before eventually asking for Then he told the man 50 press words. And I was like, really? So I started. You told me this thing is 1 city. Why is it going for 50% for the man? So it became a whole lot of funny issue.
Yes.
And I said, okay, so it means because I cannot speak Dagbani, and I even tried all those stuff. But aside that, I think that is normal everywhere. But for hospitality, I've really enjoyed a lot of when I came here. Since I came here, I've received a lot of warm, like from Dakbeba Palace. In fact, I've been to a lot of places and I've been welcome. So I think your point is still on. It's still valid.
Thank you.
And I
You
still,
voted and you didn't vote.
Everybody has something to say.
To be honest, I believe everything you said. It's something that I think that it didn't just happen to you. I think that it's something that happens to a lot of people who are Fulani. And it's very true that a lot of people think that Dagombes are proud, and when they say proud, it's not just proud of your culture, it's pride to the point where you feel superior to other people. Dagombes have perceptions about people from the Upper East region which are not very pleasant, and they have perceptions about the Fulani which are just terrible. One of the examples that I'll use will be to talk about the Fulani. So for example, most Dagombes, if they have Fulani people that they work with or buy things from, they never know their actual names. They only know them as Fulani. Yeah. And by not knowing a person's actual name and just calling them Fulani, which is the name for the collective group, you are dehumanizing them in a way. And I saw that when I went to visit in Zabzol, one kid was being chased by farmers because he had like led his cattle into their farm, and then I was sitting with my grandmother, and then he came into the room, and then they just kept calling him Fulani, Fulani. And I couldn't ask him for his actual name because he was deaf and dumb. So I guess in that context, that was the only option that they had. But with most of us and most of our interactions with Fulani people, most of us don't know their actual names, even though we probably work with them. You buy wagashi from them, you buy milk from them, you meet them, you talk to them every day, and then you just call them Fulani without asking even if they tell you what their actual name is, they keep going back to that. And that is humanizing.
Most times you see that when somebody is asleep, like the person is too asleep, they want to insult the person.
Just say when someone is like me.
I'll take
What she said is on point,
yeah.
because I've had a lot of experiences with Dagombes and Fulanis.
Yes.
One example is I went to a particular village. I was assessing basic education, and the school attendants asked, okay, how many people are in this class? They said 6, and they're Fulani. And I was like, what do you mean? So that day I had to stop what I was doing, and I talked to them that Fulani people too are human beings. You don't just have to say 6 in a Fulani.
Why?
They are part of you.
The Fulani, he doesn't
And
care.
you have to stop that and see them as one of them, and not as others, because they didn't see them as human beings.
Yes.
So,
And the main thing is our individual attitudes. For me, whatever is happening, this tribal thing, I just feel that it's all about the individual.
yes.
For instance, I'm a Hausa by tribe. If Hausas think, like the Wombes are nothing, okay, some sections think, how about me as an individual? What do I think about the Wombes?
Yes.
What I think about the Wombes is actually what it is to me.
Yes.
I don't have to think the Wombes are bad, the Wombes are like they have a negative attitude just because some sections of houses think that we know. All these things is all about the individual. So we are the only people who can serve as changes to these perceptions.
And
Exactly.
one thing I want to add to what you said, there are sometimes perceptions are very difficult to change. You hear that, oh, this particular group, they are like this. For example, my sister mentioned that their airways are noted for their juju, right?
Yes.
So sometimes you meet an airway and your mind is like, wow, so is she powerful? You see, those
Powerful.
things come to your mind.
I'm not powerful.
So, but through your interaction with them, you get to know that, oh, they are just something else. It's not true.
Yeah.
They are just like us, human beings, nothing different. So that's what is the problem, Sam. So it's just about
It is
the individuals,
really true.
not
Coming
the
to the
collective.
north, you could imagine the kind of perceptions I had about the north. It was as if you sleep on trees.
Yeah.
That is after the year 2010.
2010.
My grandfather was totally against us. So no, Masi. I think Masi is cute. I had admission in UDS and Tech. and I was contemplating. So I wanted to decide. So I'll go to this relative. Okay, this person, this. What do you think? Northern region. Yes, don't think about it. The Hamatan alone, you bleed to death. Your nose. Mousy. No. They don't have houses. They sleep in trees. Like a whole lot of negative perceptions. So I think my decision to come to the north was based on my curiosity, because I was like, no, I really have to see this for myself.
I think it's important.
There's no good roads. So if you imagine, so when I was even coming the first time, I came here with my father, because he has to be sure that the place was safe. So when we're entering Tamale, he was like, they are saying we are entering from the but we are still on the hotel road. So it began to like so it looks like to my family now, at least I've been staying here for at least almost 8 years now. So I've been able to let them understand that the north is not actually how we see it today. But the truth is, perceptions about the north, and then that's just one area of life that you cannot really answer. But you have that kind of encounter with the people yourself. You can't really do, because if I had just believed what my parents said, my grandparents said those days, I'm sure by now I'd have still been maybe I would have still been thinking very bad about the north. I came and I've actually enjoyed the place.
I think it's important to understand that ethnicity, even though we tie it to geographical location, it goes beyond that, because the idea of like ethnic purity is a lot of hogwash. Because when you look at, we went to Zabzo on Thursday, and on our way we stopped at Sabali, and then so my dad speaks Lipapa Konkumba language, and he speaks Basa, he speaks all those languages. And so whenever we went to like a Konkumba settlement, if we needed something, he would talk to them, right? And so we went to Sabali, and then I was speaking English to these women, they were speaking Tree to me, and I was like, Dad, you need to come and speak Basari or Lupapa to them. And then they were like, they speak Ewe. And then my dad told me that like before, so by the water, by the river Oti, there are Ewe settled there, and then on the hills, that's where the Dagumbas and other ethnic groups settle. So when we think about demarcating ethnic groups according to geography, I think it's bigger than that. Especially if you want to look at ethnic purity, because there are people, you live with people all over. Like people, when they think about Ewes, they think of just the Volta region, but they don't know that there are Ewes in the northern region who have lived there for for centuries. Yeah. And another thing that you guys made a note of that I thought was very important was how you interact with individuals. So some people have a policy. My mom is an example of, not judging people by their background until you interact with them and see what they have to say or how they interact with you. But I think it's also important to look at the ways in which the systems that we live in sort of perpetuates these injustices and marginalization. So for example, the media is a typical example of why we are still fighting, ethnic stereotypes. They say like Ewes are like this, or Dagumbes are like that, or Konkumbes or Basari or Hausas are like that, right? So I feel like the media system has a role to play, and even politicians. When there was the issue of Fulani headsmen and farmers clashing, the president used the current president, Nanado, he used very problematic words to describe these people. So if you find that the president of your country calls, Fulani headsmen, sort of having, disagreements or getting into issues with farmers, and he calls it the Fulani menace, you have put a whole ethnic group into this terrible stereotype that will stay with the country, because he's the leader. We consider him the father of the country. If he speaks this way, it endorses what the media says about this particular ethnic group and so when he did that, he sort of nationalized them. He framed them as not citizens of the country, and that's the current. I mean, it's not even the current. That's what people have always thought about the Fulani. Like I was talking about the guy who is getting married on Facebook, and how his parents, like his Fulani. A lot of people don't even know that, right? And they have lived here for generations. I think he still identifies as Fulani, but he identifies as Ghanaian too. So being one ethnic group that people think is not typically Ghanaian, and being Ghanaian, they are not conflicting identity categories, right? So being from a particular ethnic group doesn't mean that you cannot be Ghanaian. So I think those are some of the conversations that we need to have and talk about as far as the ways in which we speak with or address people from other ethnic groups are concerned. I think it's also important to acknowledge that we have privileges. So for example, I am a Dagbana. I'm from Tamale. Here, I have the privilege of being a Dagbana, and I have the privilege of being a Dagbana because of the ways in which the people in my group see other ethnic groups. So we do not think like people. So, for example, the Grunsi, we don't think of them well. When you go to so we feel that we are superior to these people, and most people in our ethnic group don't like to acknowledge that. They're just like, oh, it's pride. You can be proud of where you're coming from without putting down other people. And so when we go to the South and the Southerners treat us terribly, and then we get mad, and I'm like, well, that's how we also treat these people. So if you acknowledge that you're privileged in certain ways and marginalized in other ways, and confront those privileges and acknowledge the marginalization, I think it's one of the ways to start like having an honest conversation about this, rather than saying, oh, we are just like good to people and we don't really we don't treat people badly. We do treat people badly. Like the system is set up in a way for us to do that, and we need to acknowledge that and start working towards addressing these issues in more concrete ways.
Okay, just to add to what you've said, I feel like we don't do research as a country. If you're really curious about something, don't make judgments. Find out for yourself. And as people of Ghana, we see a Ghanaian acting as if another person in Ghana is from a different country or continent. I feel like what is happening to us? If you want to know more about a certain group of people, find out, do your research, and do it well. Then you will become to know that what you perceive is not the actual or the reality. And sometimes you have an experience with an individual and you didn't like the way the person treated you. Then you just form an expression that everyone belonging to that particular group is like that person. That is generalization, and it's wrong. What percentage of the people have you had an encounter with if they behave the same way? If it's 99%, then you have the right to say that this particular group, they are like that. But just an individual or 2 or 3 persons, then you say, oh, these people, I met this one and the person treated me this way, so they are like that. No. Maybe it's just an individual, or maybe the time that you met the person wasn't in the right frame of mind or something. Something could have influenced the person's character towards you. So we don't just have to generalize that these people are like that or like this. We have to find out for ourselves, do research. That is what we are lacking in Ghana. We're not curious. If you're curious, find out.
I came to the north out of curiosity because I wanted to see if I would sleep on a tree. There are no networks,
that I want
no
to
roads.
emphasize. She mentioned that the Gombes we look down upon other tribes. For example, the Fulanis, the Gombes, and others, which is not good. Because when we go south, we want them to treat us as human beings. So we should know that if we want to be treated as an individual or a person, then we're ready to treat another person as such. What we are doing is not good. We have to see them as human beings. We need to treat them as we want others to treat us. If you want to be respected, then be ready to respect others. I'm not proud of that behavior, and I hope it changes.